Hey everyone, it's Greg from Stationary Shenanigans. I think I finally decided on my planner lineup for 2023, and I'm excited to share with you all what I'm gonna do. These are famous last words where we think we land on something and then within a few weeks or a few months we change it, but I'm fully embracing that at this point and we're just gonna give this a try. So after a lot of watching other people's videos, a lot of just life experience with Hobonichis and Filofax and moleskin planners and all that stuff, I feel like I've had a lot of experience and a lot of failures. So yeah, let's get down to it. I decided to divide up my plans between work, personal, and creative, and I'm going to go ahead and explain that. So first up, I wanted to share what I've purchased from Kinokuniya in New Jersey. I'm so excited because I've actually never tried this brand, but I think it's what I want. This is NOLTY Japanese Planner in B6, and it is a horizontal weekly planner that also has monthly, and I'll show you. And then the right page has a whole blank page for notes. So the reason why I chose this one because, well, if you watch my video from Vlogmas when I went to Kinokuniya and Daiso, I showed some footage and they had so many Japanese planners of this NOLTY brand and a couple others I can't remember the names of, not ones I've seen elsewhere, that I just felt really overwhelmed and I didn't get something the first time I was there. I actually left and went back later after I kind of thought about it. So this is what we landed on. The first thing is, it's like this nice pleather cover, and I wanted something professional. So I saw a couple nicely colored ones that were like bright yellow and teal and all that stuff. But because I'll be taking this to the office, which is an extremely, how do I say it? Not stuck up, but extremely professional office setting, I can't have anything too crazy because people will say stuff. So I thought this like camel color leather was definitely professional and checked off that box. The first box was checked off. I also love the B6 size. It's something that you can hold and carry to meetings, take notes in, and it also fits in your bag without taking up too much weight and too much space. The quality feels very nice, and this is a reusable cover. So even though it has the 2023 on there, that wouldn't bother me if for some reason I wanted to reuse this cover as a B6 notebook cover. So first up, this has monthly tabs, which I usually never get anything that has tabs, but I decided this year it might be a good idea. Let's see if I can move in a little bit. Just a little bit. I don't want to overdo it here. So 1 through 12 for the 12 months. It has an overview for 2023 and 2024 and 2025. I don't think I can think that far ahead though. And it has your yearly plan for 2023. And one thing I like throughout the whole planner, blue is Saturdays and red is Sundays. It's very subtle, but it's nice to have that difference when you're planning out your week. And also the color scheme of this is also professional. I've used the Jibun Techo Biz, which I really like. It kind of has that same muted color scheme. I would have loved to use the Jibun Techo, which kind of has more of a rainbow of colors, but I think that might have been too much colors for me. Okay, so we have our yearly plan, and then it actually starts on December, well, so we have December 2022, which is halfway over now, but we have the monthly layout, and it starts December 28th, so you have that kind of like transition week. And then, oh no, it actually has, I'm sorry, it has all of December 2022. Wow, I can start using it now. Didn't even plan on that. So let's just start in January. So the first tab, this is one thing I really loved about it. It has the monthly overview on the tab sheet, and then it goes into the week. So some of the other planners I looked at have all the months in the front of the notebook and then the weeks elsewhere, and I don't like having to flip back and forth. I love having the monthly and then it starts the weekly. Don't know if you can see, but on the left we have our days of the week starting on Monday, ending on Sunday with that blue and red, and enough vertical space to write a good amount of things. What sold me on this was, really, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, is that that does have the times kind of up here. So the Jibun Techo Biz I've been using has, it was a vertical layout that has the times, but the vertical layout just didn't work for me because I feel like it's hard to write a lot of things vertically. Maybe for Japanese writing, if they wrote in that direction, maybe it's more helpful, I'm not sure. But for me, I miss the horizontal. But I love having these times. So then there's the 12 noon, which is in red, and then the 6 p.m., which is in red, which I guess is kind of like, you know, when you're off work. So I thought that was a very nice, subtle way to have that timing in there without it being overpowering. So I was really excited for that. And then you have an entire sheet of notes on the right page, which has a monthly overview. Okay, sorry if you're not able to see that. It has the whole month in the bottom right here, which is also small and subtle. And it has the week. So I chose this layout because at work, I like to do all my things. And then when I'm sitting in meetings and I have to write kind of detailed notes about those things, I love having it on the page right across from the actual scheduling. So that way I can write the whole thing, and then later when I can go back and plan when I need to have a follow-up meeting or whatever. So that was one thing I knew I needed. Currently I'm using that monthly planner from Barnes & Noble, which I also showed in my $20 stationery challenge video, but it was only monthly, and monthly does not work because it's hard to keep track of notes elsewhere. I like having everything for work in one single planner. So theoretically, this is all I would bring to work because it has my planning and it has plenty of space for notes. So we go through, we have all our months, again, another layout there. And if we go towards the end, it has some interesting pages. Okay, so we have another overview. Then we have plenty of just lined note pages. Then it goes to graph note pages. Again, this is more than enough for work. I love these little memo pages that are perforated, so you could just write something and then stick it out and have a little square. That's really neat if you had to jot something down and give it to someone and then you're not actually ripping a page from your book. It has contact sheets and ID and passwords. It has a world time chart, map of Japan. I love these things for when I'm like sitting in a boring meeting or something, and where I work we don't have electronics in there, so there's like no cell phones and stuff, and sometimes I sit through these long things, and if I don't really need to pay attention, I like going to the back of my planner and just looking through all these things. There's weights and measurements, a health check calendar, health check memo, yeah. And then in the back here it has your contact info and then actually a built-in ruler, which is kind of nifty. And then it comes with, I guess this is like a rail map of Japan, which if you've ordered Hobonichi, you've probably seen them. And has some other information, I guess, about the company, NOLTY. It's funny because when I kept looking at them, I kept saying NOTLY because that kind of makes more sense, right? Like notebook, but it's actually NOLTY. And then it has these, well, it kind of explains on the back. It's like, okay, well, I can't tell you what it says, but it's something to make the tabs, or yeah, so that's interesting. And it has a pen loop, which I love, and it folds in, so it'd be nice to walk around work with just a single pen in here. It's a pretty decent thickness, or just fold it back in, and then because it has these plastic pockets, it's nice that you can kind of put stuff in here. And the price for this was $29.99, which I feel like is a decent price. It is made in Japan, and yeah. So let me know if you've ever used the NOLTY or other products they have. I'm not sure if they just make planners and how you liked it, or if you didn't like it. And I'll certainly update you all as 2023 goes on here to see if I like this. But this was perfect for my work purposes. Just perfect size, professional looking. It really checked off all my boxes, and I was so excited when I found it. So, NOLTY for work. Next up is my personal planning, which you may be surprised, I'm going to attempt a Filofax situation. But because the Filofax inserts I feel are quite pricey, I found a Amazon dupe. So I got this from Amazon, and the reason why I decided to try it is because I watch a lot of videos where you all will organize you'll take the sheets out of your binder to do your planning and decorating and stuff, and then put it back in the binder. And for some reason I never looked at it that way. I always thought everything kind of stays in the rings and you just remove it and move it around, and I don't know why I didn't. Yeah, so that's just my brain not functioning, I guess. So I decided to, instead of like having the rings as something that I was working against, I decided it would be something that would work with me for my personal planning. So I got this on Amazon. It is, I couldn't tell you the brand name. I will certainly link it below. And it was a really good price, 2023 weekly and monthly planner to fit in this Filofax, which is the personal size. I actually got this because I want to say it was a lightning deal, or maybe it was I can't remember. But my credit card had sent me a $10 like voucher for Amazon. It was literally just like, buy something on Amazon with your linked credit card and we'll give you $10 toward your purchase. So I was able to get this. Yes, it was Black Friday. I was able to get this and the Waterman ink that I talked about in one of my recent videos. And this, I think without the coupon, was maybe $8 or $9. Basically it was free for me. And I said, you know what, let's give it a try, because I think a lot of the Filofax branded ones were like $20. And I would have loved the cream colored one and all that, but maybe this won't work out for me, and then I feel better knowing that I only spent a few dollars. Well, not really, because my credit card spent it. So let's go ahead and open this up and take a look at this. Okay. So it's nicely packaged. I'm sure the paper quality is not going to be the best, but we're just going to see what happens here. 2023. Quick reference info. It's got your holidays. Oh, it does. I couldn't tell. But it does have tabs for the months, contact list, and then the first two pages are kind of an overview here of the month. And then it's the weekly. So it starts on Monday on the left side and ends on Sunday with a notes block, which is kind of nice. And the reason why I wanted to choose this was because, I'll show you in a second, but the Filofax I had used in 2021 was just kind of like a disaster because of how the pages were set up. It didn't work for me. Yeah, so again, I'm excited to have a monthly at the beginning followed by the weeks. This kind of emanates the NOLTY one I got for work, that mentality. So I figured this would be a good way to organize my personal stuff, to kind of disassociate from my work planner, keep things I want to do for just day to day, and my grocery lists and checkups and all that fun personal stuff, and then have a little fun with decorating it too, right? Because I wouldn't be able to walk into work with a nicely decorated weekly spread and like whip it out and start taking notes, or if a coworker asks me like, oh, we have to have a meeting or something, just because I don't want to deal with people's reactions. So I wanted to keep it separate. And the reason why I decided to do it this way is because I can also kind of elaborate more using a Filofax binder with the tabs. So this is my Filofax, the original, and the navy blue leather. I just really like it. And I'll show you why it didn't work for me when I bought these inserts. It was all different. So like, it's 2 days on a page, and my brain couldn't always, like, you had to look at the actual number, and my brain just couldn't function that way because, like, yeah, it just didn't work for me. It seemed like a week should be on a page with a note page, or like 2 weeks, or I don't know. I tried using it and it didn't go very well. So we're going to replace it with this one from Amazon, and then I figured the other tabs I could use for like my health and wellness journaling that I want to do and tracking. I also want to be a little bit better organized. I want to do some recipes and cook some things I would have never tried before, and I thought this would be a great way to kind of organize all those things. So this is going to be my personal planner, and I'm also thinking, if this doesn't work out because it's too much for me with the rings, I don't know if I necessarily would carry this around because it is a little bit bigger, but I don't need to carry it around. I just tell myself that eventually I could merge my personal things into my work planner. So that's kind of like my plan B. So we got work, we got personal, and now let's move on to creative. So that is number 3. So I'm going to have 3 planners. We'll see how that works. I decided I wanted to try the Traveler's Notebook Weekly Planner, which I showed this in my haul from the coffee, limited edition coffee thing that came out. So I bought this a while ago. And you've probably all seen this, but the weekly is the regular size. It's Monday through Sunday on one side, and then it has the graph paper on the right side. If you watch Job's journal, he does his weekly little drawings and artwork in here, kind of like a memory keeper thing. I forget what he calls it. Sorry, Job, my brain is, yeah. So I was hoping to recreate my cat comics about my daily life, maybe it's what he calls it, daily journaling, in here instead of Hobonichi, because as much as I've been loving my cat comics, having this big separate Hobonichi just doesn't work, because I just wouldn't want to carry it for only doing one thing, which would be my comics. So I don't plan on getting a 2023 Hobonichi, which sounds blasphemous, but that's just what we're doing right now. So some of you have seen, like, I would draw my little cat comic about something I did that day, or whatever, and then, yeah. But I wouldn't always want to carry this around, because it's like a big book to have. And that's when I just started doing it with a fountain pen. So I decided, why don't we take this and adapt it to Traveler's Notebook, and maybe do my little creative things and other creative stuff too. It doesn't have to be my cat drawings. Then I was also thinking this would be a good way to plan my YouTube videos I want to do, or plan my stationery goals. I'm not sure if I would want to do YouTube stuff in the creative notebook with Traveler's Notebook, or if I would want to incorporate it into my personal planning. The jury is still out on that, and we'll see how it goes. Let me know in the comments below how you kind of organize your creative things or your YouTube channel, because it's not easy. There's so many things I want to do, but when you're not organized about how you're going to go and do them and how you're going to plan them out, they end up not materializing, and then I just feel a little bit more frustrated. So it's a good way to maybe track your ideas a little bit better. So yeah, my only problem with Traveler's Notebook is I'm kind of having like an identity crisis, where I know I love the regular size, but I think I want a different cover. So for my regular size Traveler's Notebooks, I have the Hotel Edition, which I've used a lot. I've already filled a couple notebooks in here, and I've really been enjoying it. Recently I had changed to my Passport Blue, just to give the passport size a try. But I still come back to this regular size. It just works for me. I have big hands. I like the design of it, the shape of it. There's just something about it that works for me. So I don't know if I want this Traveler's Hotel one to use for my creative planning, because I don't know, I kind of want one that just has a blank cover. So my other two options were my limited edition Olive Edition, which I love, but because it's limited edition, it's like, do I want to use it and carry it around? What if I lose it? I always feel like I have that dilemma. And then my Holy Grail, which is my original limited edition blue one, which, let me know someday if I should do a flip through of all these. This is what first got me into Traveler's Notebook years ago, and stationery kind of in general. This is, I don't want to use this one because then I don't want to lose it as well, because this one's the most special to me. This is what I would grab if my desk area was on fire. I would grab this and run out. It just has a lot of meaning to me. It used to be the blue was not part of their lineup. It was a limited edition, and then for a long time you couldn't get blue, and I think now blue is part of their permanent collection. So we have the brown, olive green, and blue. I was thinking maybe I should get a black to kind of round out my color choices, because I don't have the camel colored for my work planner, the navy blue for personal, and then my black Traveler's Notebook for creative. So that's what I'm thinking. Anyway, thank you so much for listening to me ramble about my planning. I put a lot of thought into this. We'll see how things actually work out. But I'm excited to try a different setup. I've never actually, as much as I love Traveler's Notebook, I've never actually purchased any of their calendars. I've never had a NOLTY, aka I want to call it Notely. And I am just trying to have a confidence booster using a planning system that is a binder, and we'll see how that goes. I will see you next time. Take care.